Hello everyone, Michael Mechanical here. So, 3 hours ago apparently when I read the message it said, I am no longer eligible to do live streams. The one thing that I was using in order to make the videos is now gone, so I can no longer make those live streams unless I meet a criteria of 1,000 subscribers. Now this channel's only a tenth of the way there, so it's kind of, you know, nowhere near the 1,000 mark, which kind of sucks. But anyway, we can probably still do some level of videos, meaning they won't be live anymore, meaning we can't interact during a stream. So I guess I'll have to settle for this if this even works, this method. So right now, update, working on Pajero, Dad's V6. He's actually working on it right now since ran into some problems working on it myself. I ended up getting a new tool wherever I put it, which was thread file. Ended up using the 1.5 because I was having a problem putting in a bolt on his motor for the air conditioner, and a tip which I got told about, although I never applied that knowledge to my own scenario, was when you put the AC back in the vehicle, you take the air conditioner off separately, bolt the plate on, then you bolt the air conditioner to that plate. So my mistake was essentially unbolting the whole lot and just dropping it in midair and then trying to bolt it back up. It's just too much weight to hold up that plate and try to put them in the holes when nothing wants to line up. It's really awkward to do it on your own, but when there's two people, it is possible to, yes, put that in. It's a lot more difficult when you're on your own, so to make your life easier, just drop the air conditioner and then put the plate up. It's easy to drop, it's not easy to put it back up. Okay, so I don't know if this gives me, no, I've lost the ability to rotate cameras on the fly. So there is no features here in which I can go, oh look at that, I can zoom, can't flip the camera. So what we're looking at is the engine bay. We've got our new pulley in here, and that was the last thing we're waiting on. Once we got that, then we started putting it back together again. We're now working on the bolts which are meant to go on the pump by pulling them out of the plates that's over there, putting them into the pump. This makes things a little bit more awkward. And putting in new bolts. So this is one of the new bolts because we've lost some bolts, and so I forced the wrong bolts in here. They got taps, which is what this tool's for and this tool's for. Once that's been done, we put in the right bolts which were meant to originally go in there, go as far as we can, and then that should clamp really nice and neatly. So it's getting there. We have a hint on what might be the reason why this car, you know, doesn't fire correctly, and that's the cap and the rotor that's inside of the cap. And we might replace them, but we might not, depending on if we can fix them or not, and if they are the cause or not. So if it's something else, then we've got to figure out what that is. Otherwise, it's burnt money if we just replace those parts and it still doesn't fix the problem. It's more of a hindrance than anything. Tata-wise, it's getting worked on a little tiny bit. The tachometer is at the gauge shop around South Australia, getting repaired because it was damaged, and I've already got one of the service parts required to service it. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, it just means I'm getting ready for the point in which I will service it, re-register it, and use it if I get a job at this point in time, because the major rebuild and major service that it does require it's due for is just too much to do now. It's expensive. I can't afford to do that. And it would be just cheaper to just run it around, and if it breaks, get rid of it, get something else. It's actually cheaper for me to go and put the white one together, but Dad wants to paint the white one, so it's just extra money it doesn't need to spend on it necessarily. Well, it does a little bit. It does need a little bit of paint. But what people generally do is essentially what they've done here. Essentially they've cleaned it, and then they've just painted it with a charcoal black paint. and they do it all along the edges and just paint it because they're crude. And you can tell how crude it is because it's brush painted on there. And you can tell by the streak marks in here, it's not consistently the same across the board. And you can definitely tell along this edge here that it is streaky. So Dad wants to paint this. It's gonna cost a lot of money to paint. If we have time to paint it, we'll paint it. If not, we won't probably. We'll see. The brake calipers won't come apart any further than that, so that's meant to just pull straight off. But the pin is seized a little bit, so we'll have to find a way to get that off. Should have used some penetrating and let it sit. It might have come good then, and then it might just drop down and it'll come off now. So with this restriction that YouTube's put in place that I can't make the videos the same way, if I can make them this way effectively enough, then they'll be okay. Otherwise, it's one of those things going to have to reevaluate what I'm going to do, or what I want to do. Because making videos like editing them and stuff isn't a good use of my time. My time is better spent being productive, doing this stuff, which I don't. The only reasons I don't like doing it is because when you have to lean over a car, and I always realise it with this car because this one's the most difficult car to work with, especially when it comes to the AC. When you're trying to get it in quickly, easily, and you're on your own, you struggle. You have to bend your back over the whole engine bay, and then you have to lift things up, and it puts a lot of stress on your back. When you're under a car and you have to put something up high, and you're literally in this scenario where you don't have a 2-post hoist, you don't get to stand up under the car and reach up and do it. You literally have to lay under the car and look up and do it. And then you get pains in your neck and aches and pains in your neck. When you're leaning over the engine bay, you get the pains in your back and sometimes your neck. There are some circumstances where you get aches and cramps from being in weird positions working on cars. So it's one of those scenarios where you wish that the body could come completely apart easily enough that you can work on the side of the motor or something with relative ease, and then just stand there, kneel down on the ground or something, and then just lift it up straight on, align it, see where the holes are, and then just bolt things together rather than having to stand over it, lift it up, and try to find the hole that you can't even see. Because that's the problem with this. So Tata's out the front with the Triton. The Triton is one of those things that needs a lot of work done. I'm taking as many of the defects possible off the Tata before I put it on the road. And if it does get defected on the road, I'd really like to know why it got defected. I'm going to swap the lenses over from the Triton to the Tata to save me some money. That way the lenses are brand new, the colours are right, and mine were cracked anyway, so I was thinking, do I get LEDs or what do I do? So I can put the illegal ones on the Triton for now, and put the good ones on the Tata since that'd be the driving car. And then I can swap things around later. If the Tata breaks down, it'll depend on what we're going to do from there. Scrap it, swap out the driveline, repair it. What are we going to do with it? At this point in time, well, she's the only going car that's not going to destroy herself. She is slowly doing it, but she isn't going to do it as likely as the Triton is, because the Triton is infamous for blowing the head gasket. The Tata is not infamous for anything other than being underpowered, and it's less than underpowered now, because the Tata, before this Tata was imported, it was actually not legal for the 3-cylinder to be on the road. That was because it did not have enough power to meet Australian standards. Then they built that one, and that one only just borderline had the power to meet Australian road standards. And because of the problem with it, it's less than good. It's less than adequate for our roads, so it's not really powerful enough to drive on our roads now. But it's all I've got at the moment. If I was to repair it, probably bring it back in the spec, it'll be okay. But I'd rather spend the money, a lot of money, on the Triton because that thing ran really good. The only reason I don't want to spend money on the Triton is because there's better stuff I can get, newer stuff, and then the limitations on how long I'm going to have the Triton for before they take it off the road. So we'll have to wait and see. Other than that, Pajero's still getting worked on. Is there anything you can say about the Pajero, Dad?
Yeah, I reckon I know where the bolts are.
What bolts? Oh, those bolts. I have no idea where that bolt is. Just worry about that bolt there and the one down here hiding. Literally, you can't see it, but it's right there. Or maybe you can see it, and I'm just dumb because I can't use the camera switching mode anymore and doing a live stream. So it makes things awkward and painful. It doesn't give me enough flexibility to make videos the way I was. There's no interactivity with the audience. They literally have taken away a level of interactivity from the audience if they want to interact with their creators or mentors or what do they call them? Guides. There's other words. But anyway, thank you for watching. If this video reaches you, feel free to share this with your friends, family, neighbours, and let's try to move the subscriber count to 1,000 so we can live stream again. And if this is the sort of stuff you kind of want to see, but better than this video, because obviously the video quality is going to drop from what YouTube has said, then I have no idea. I'm confused. I'll have to let you guys go. I've got to focus on helping my dad get his car on the road again so he can drive it for work. And maybe beat the hell out of the road with it. When he drives. Anyway, see you later everyone. Peace.